Idalia is expected to become a major hurricane before it makes landfall tomorrow along the Big Bend area of the state. We do have extensive live team coverage from South Florida to the Gulf Coast this afternoon. We also have two meteorologists here tracking the storm. Next weather meteorologist Gonzalez kicks us off our team coverage with the latest forecast track of Idalia. Lissette.
That's right. Hurricane Idalia continues to intensify as we take a look at the latest 11 a.m. advisory. Max sustained winds increase to 85 miles per hour. The pressure drops slightly to 976 millibars. It is moving north at 14 miles an hour and expected to become a Category 2 later today and overnight into tomorrow morning. It is forecast to become a dangerous major Category 3 hurricane with max sustained winds possibly up to 125 miles per hour before it makes landfall somewhere here along the Gulf Coast of Florida. The center likely could be making landfall here along the Big Bend area, and then it'll continue to track to the northeast as a tropical storm by tomorrow evening, and it will also be impacting the southeastern United States as a tropical storm as we head into Thursday and Friday. By the weekend, it will finally head out into the Atlantic. However, Idalia is going to bring impacts really to most of our state, especially our friends along the West Coast. I know here in South Florida, many of you may have family members and friends that may live along the Gulf Coast, or kids that study at places like UF and FSU and Gainesville, of course, Tallahassee. Big concerns there along the Tampa Bay area. And as we take a look at the latest satellite, you can see that it is gathering that fuel from the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and it is continuing to strengthen. Hurricane warnings, storm surge warnings for parts of the Gulf Coast, tropical storm warnings in effect now for the East Coast of Florida, the Northeast Coast, as well as the Southwest Coast of Florida. Tropical storm watch for the lower Keys, tropical storm warning in effect for the dry Tortugas. And a big change with this advisory is that now the numbers for the potential storm surge are going up. We are seeing the potential for a catastrophic, life-threatening, destructive storm surge now 10 to 15 feet above ground level along the Big Bend area. Just to put things in perspective, a stop sign is about 9 feet tall. 7 to 11 feet storm surge just south of there, and then even here in the Keys, we could see storm surge of 1 to 2 feet because you have the higher than normal king tides on top of the storm surge. And in terms of South Florida, minimal impacts, gusty rain bands, rainfall totals 1 to 2 inches, and breezy to windy conditions, gusts of 35 to 45 miles per hour. Meteorologist Sherman is here to break down what we can expect throughout the rest of the day in the next few days. Casey.
Yeah, good afternoon, Lissette. And yeah, we're already dealing with some of those outer bands now pushing on shore to Key West as winds have been picking up there closer to 40 miles per hour at times. Haven't seen too much across the metro area yet, but that is eventually going to start to ramp up as well, as we'll start to see some bands push through the metro eventually as we into late this afternoon. Our focus right now is on Key West. That's where we have a flood advisory in effect as we're starting to see this feeder band move through. Very heavy rain with this, which is why we have that flood advisory through 2:45 p.m. So be aware of that. What they're also going to continue to watch out for is the potential to see some coastal flooding on top of course, that rainfall flooding threat. There is the center of circulation of Idalia. It's currently about 180 miles nearly due west of Key West. It's moving quickly off to the north at the moment, where we will continue to see these bands rotate in onshore today. So we're still going to be looking at minimal impacts here locally. The Keys looking at the most impacts from this system, but across Miami-Dade and Broward County, looking at what's just going to be a wet, windy day of weather. Gusts picking up between 25 to 45 miles per hour with some wet and windy conditions through your Wednesday.